I think you have like this kind of nostalgia, and apparently it is after 20 years. And I didn't even know it was 20 years. So thank you for telling me. I had someone else write that to me like yesterday, or yeah, I think it was yesterday. Like, Amanda, it's gonna be like 20 years. Like, what are you gonna do? I was like, what?
Next year,
It was
your
very
album
cool.
can drink in America. It'll be 21.
Wow, very cool. So let's celebrate next year also.
We'll meet back next year and talk about the 21.
Yeah.
Expect you to get down. What you keep saying, everybody does, and not everybody's playing. I wanna be your girlfriend, but you gotta turn the pressure up. Turn the pressure up.
This year, 2021, is the 20th anniversary of so many great pop culture moments that happened in 2001. And one of those for
Oh,
me was the release of your album, Everybody Doesn't.
thank you
Yeah,
so much.
of course, I truly mean it. So that's just sort of how I was familiar with your album, and I just again want to thank you. It was such a nice escape for me at the time, and now 20 years later, listening back, it like takes me right back there.
Turn the pressure up. You keep saying, everybody does, and not everybody's playing. I wanna be your girlfriend. You gotta turn the pressure up. And you.
When I was 6, 7 years old, I got introduced to dancing, and I started tap dancing. So I always I loved being on stage. Yeah, I always did performances. And then when I was there was this kind of hit show in Sweden. It was called Little Stars, and it's where you were supposed to mime, so not sing, but mime to your face, like to your idol. And obviously as Michael Jackson, because I was a big Michael Jackson fan, and they called me back, a girl can't be a guy, or vice versa. So you have to choose a girl. And I was like, oh. And the obvious reasons for me, the obvious choices for me were either Madonna or Janet Jackson. But I didn't know much Janet Jackson at the time, but I chose her obviously because she was the sister of Michael. So I recorded that. I was in the finale, and I won the show. So that was very cool. A lot of fun. And I just did many shows in Sweden. But I think in regards to that, that's kind of like how I got discovered. Or it was actually a new dance teacher, which was Laila, who was married to Anders. And they told my mom, when I was 10 years old, they were like, okay, we want to work with her. Or maybe after 10 years old, maybe 11 years old, they were like, we want to work with her. And I was like, I've never sung. And then I started to sing. But my background was more with dancing and performing, and I really loved that. So that's how it got all started. And then we started to write songs. My first song I wrote, I was 13.
Wow.
And it was supposed to be a duet with this. I don't know. So let's see if you from back in the back at that time, Samantha Numba.
Of course, yeah. I actually have a photo of you
Yeah.
with her I was going to show you in a minute.
What?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
I found it in, hold on, October 2001 Pop Star magazine.
What?
It's an amazing,
Okay, you've done
amazing
your
photo.
research.
I've done my research. Look at y'all.
No, I love that. Oh, I absolutely want that. I didn't even know that. I don't even remember that we saw each other at that time. But yeah, what happened was we started to write songs, with my producers.
Yeah.
And when I was 14, I flew over to the States to shop a record deal, and I had different meetings, and that's how it started.
So you're saying the first song you wrote was supposed to be a duet with Samantha
Yeah.
Mumba.
Yes,
And is that song maybe Us Against the World?
absolutely.
Because I see your name on the credits back here. It's such a fun story to hear, how that song traveled, and so fun that you got
It's so
to
special.
share it
Yeah.
with your family, your sister as well.
I at least was so looking forward to make a video with Samantha
Yeah.
at the time. But we had so much fun writing the song. And then we recorded it. And then my sister, she was younger, and she was in play. And then they got a deal, and the song was really good with them. So I had, instead of having Us Against the World, as a duet with Samantha Mumba on the Rugrats in Paris soundtrack, I had You Don't Stand a Chance.
So in the world, does there exist a recorded version of you and Samantha singing it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I still have the demo somewhere, but we really recorded it because it was supposed to be released. It was supposed to be the first song release. So I flew out to New York, which was an amazing experience when I was 14 years old. And we had written with it was Tina Harris and Arthur Birgisson, and Lameche also, she's singing all the chorals on my album. That song also was written when I was 13. So it was actually thanks to everybody. Obviously, everybody doesn't. It was about well, I mean, it speaks for itself. I think the song, but it's funny because it was about like not getting pressured too early, like to I don't know if I can say it on.
Of course, we know what you're talking about. Wink, wink.
Just stop. I think you got a one-track mind. You're so focused on the destination that you're missing the ride.
It's funny because it was about like my first boyfriend, who is like one of my best friends today. So it's so much. It's so funny. Like now in retrospective.
You wrote, "If I loved you, I would. If you loved me, I wouldn't have to."
If I loved you, I would. If you loved me, I wouldn't have to.
And it's written in this catchy pop way, but when you really hear those lyrics, it's like, wow, like this is a interesting and powerful message.
Like they wanted me really to speak my voice and like, okay, what's going on with you? Like, what are you feeling and so on. But that line comes from Tina Harris. It's amazing also to work with people who can absolutely take that out, like what you're saying, or like put it into. I completely like I completely actually even today 20 years later, completely stand for that. Absolutely. In the beginning, the demos was definitely Us Against the World was the first song, then Everybody Doesn't. I think those were like the first songs. So when we went to shop for a deal in the States, I already had the song. And so I had like different meetings. And of course, I met Gaia Theory. And I mean, obviously it was amazing because we had so many like opportunities. Like I think we met a lot of like labels, and we got like an offer from Maverick, Madonna. Like you can't say no. Like the choice was obvious.
Yeah, you were the first young female pop artist to sign to Maverick, which is funny because Everybody Doesn't has such a message of, consent and abstinence and things like that. And you wouldn't necessarily expect mini Madonna, her first pop star, to be so innocent.
I mean, is it innocent? For sure innocent because I was very young, but it's also about standing up for yourself and like making your own decisions and own choices and not like following the crowd or like following what everybody does.
Everybody does it, that's what you keep saying. Everybody does and everybody's playing. Just stop.
You touch on that later in the album with The Way I Am and No Pressure, which The Way I Am was my anthem. That's my song.
Oh, good. That's actually like I never listened to the songs, but The Way I Am, like I listened to it again and I'm like, oh my goodness, like I relate 100%.
So many ways to go, I choose to use my own, and you don't have to understand, because it's up to me and up to me alone, and you can change the way I am.
And I remember when that song was written, it was Nina Woodford and Giannis, and I came home, like it was very, like I was signed to Merlin Music, it was the production company.
Right.
And it was kind of like their baby also, like I was the little kid with like all these like great, I mean, they were big, good producers, but it was actually after that they became like huge. Like Black Guy who wrote like Toxic for Britney and like they're huge today, but they were so like protective of me, and they really encouraged me to be part of the process. Like I felt I was very mature when I was young. Almost, my sisters say like almost more than I am now, but no, but they really wanted to make me part of the process. And that song, The Way I Am, for me, was so important because I like when they wrote the song, so I didn't write the song, but they wanted to have discussions with me, like what's going on in your life, like what are the messages you want to give, and so on. So I was really included. And The Way I Am, I remember having the discussion like with Nina Woodford, and it's about like also the same thing, like, and I think, I mean, regardless which age, this was when I was in school, but this can also be like later in life or like at work or like when, like just like making your own decision and being who you are, and like it's okay if you choose to do that. Like I'm gonna go my own way and I'm gonna be myself, and I'm a huge advocate for that even today. So yeah, that was spot on.
belong in a crowd. I act like I'm all that, don't think I'm better than you are. Still you wanna hassle me just 'cause I'm following my heart.
I know it started in 2000. So my first, I remember they called from Nickelodeon and they were like, okay, can you come and like perform in 1 week? And I remember everyone, you know, I didn't speak English. I mean, I'm Swedish. I'm half Swedish, half French. So I flew to LA for like 2 days, 3 days. I think we had a photo shoot, and then I learned the choreo with Teresa Espinosa, which was amazing.
Slap Time Live, just kicking back and chilling with you guys from Mix Studios in Orlando, Florida. She is Amanda, and I'm Dave Azer, and she is going to be performing later on right here on this very stage. What's the name of the song you're going to be doing?
The song is called You Don't Stand a Chance.
And it's from the Rugrats in Paris soundtrack, right? Okay.
And you know who my background, I mean, I shouldn't even be proud to say this because like she's a huge star today.
Is it Jenna Dewan?
Yeah. How did you know? Did you see her?
I saw her on your Instagram.
Like one of my dancers, who was the background dancer of Christina Aguilera, and then the other one, like Jenna Dewan, she was the background dancer of Janet Jackson. I was like, oh my goodness. And I mean, for a little, seriously, okay, I didn't look like a little girl. I think I was like 15. Yeah, I was 15. And so that was like my first performance. Amazing experience. And it was a lot of like, yeah, it was live and everyone were like, is she gonna like, she can hardly speak English, like she's gonna make it.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm really excited to be here.
She's from France. You lived in Switzerland, and now you're here in
Sweden.
I'm sorry. So you speak 3 languages, right?
Yes, I do.
So how would you say Rugrats in Paris in French?
Rasta moquette en Paris.
Oh, that's much cooler than just saying Rugrats in Paris.
Okay, one more time. In 3, 2.
Hola, soy Amanda. En breve presentamos Music en tu estación Nickelodeon.
I was surrounded with such good people. Like regardless, whether it was in Sweden with my crew and my production company in Sweden, or also in the States. Like I love the background process, not especially only when you're on stage or like you're doing things, but also like learning how the business works, you know? So it was with Tommy Nappy, and we did like a tour. I think we went to all the states in like 28 days. And that was thanks to also like so much work and dedication from like, yeah, I had an amazing time like with the radio people, I have to say.
I found your old your radio touring schedule on one of your fan sites, and it was insane. You were like all over the country in such a short time.
So much fun though. I mean, such a great experience. I was really impressed by all this, like how the radio, like how it works to sell the song, and like the importance of radio stations. I can't even say today, because today the business has totally changed, the music business. So like I don't know how much impact it still has today, but at that time I think it had like 80% impact, and I have no idea. I mean, it was an amazing discovery, and I really loved that that experience also.
So are you flying back and forth to Sweden throughout this? How does that work? Where do you live?
So basically, I always lived in Sweden, but when I did this, I went to the States. So I went almost like a month here and there. I couldn't continue school. I mean, I couldn't continue at school for that year. I was homeschooled. For example, when I did the video on Everybody Doesn't, like you can't, a child under, I think it's under 18. I don't know if it's under 16. I think it was under 18. A child is not allowed to work more than 8 hours on set. So after 8 hours, we went to the trailer. I had like I had an awesome teacher. I don't remember his name at all. But we were like playing cards and like reading Harry Potter, and then we started again.
You're working on an album now, right?
Yeah, I'm going back to Sweden on Saturday to record it.
Wow, how long is that plane for?
Like 8 hours from New York.
So first you got to go from Florida to New York, and then man, you get movies on the plane at least?
Yeah.
Wow.
It suited me very well. Is that I went back to Sweden, so I got to study, and I kind of like that because it's more efficient. I went home to Sweden for 3 weeks. I made all the tests and all the how do you say, in all the like math, English
Exams and all the subjects.
Yeah. So I did all my exams and it was done, and I kind of liked that because then it was really intense. Like I had to really focus, and then I did it, and then I went back to the States.
You were the original Hannah Montana. I don't know if you're familiar with the plot of Hannah Montana, but she's, she's a pop star by night, and the day she goes to school and no one knows who she is.
I didn't know that. I've heard a lot about her. I mean, Hannah Montana, who doesn't? But I know I didn't know that.
Then in June 12th, 2001, the album is released. And I just want to talk about like some of these tracks because listening back, like it's just nonstop bop, 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 bop. Like track 1 through 4. Okay, we start with the title track, Everybody Doesn't, which we already know. And then we move to Can't Stop My Love. It's funny to hear you speak on your Michael Jackson and Janet influence because that sounds like if Smooth Criminal met Britney in Sweden, like that's that song.
No, I know you're playing games, but again, get the better of your bed, 'cause you're gonna fall no matter what you say, baby.
It was my Michael Jackson song. It was like that song is my Michael Jackson song, like the way I'm singing. Funny that you say Britney Spears because it was Andreas Karlsson. And he's one of like the producers, like he made tracks for Britney also. But I mean, with that song, when I was in Los Angeles, I mean, I was such a huge fan of Michael Jackson. And I had the same like vocal coach as Michael Jackson. So he was like, okay, so I'll put you like on speaker so you can hear him sing, and then I'll play your song. And so he played my song on speaker. So I was like, I came to the, like he was like, come a little bit earlier tomorrow. I'll be with Michael and like you can hear and I will put your song on. And Michael was, and obviously the biggest thing for me, Michael was like, who's that girl like singing? Like she sounds just like me. I was like, oh my God. Like obviously if you make a song like for your idol and then he hears it and then it was amazing and I was crying so much and I was like, okay, what do I do now? Like my goal has been accomplished.
Retiring, I'm out.
Yeah, like what's left for me to do in this life? No, but almost a little. That was definitely like a tribute to Michael Jackson.
The 4th song, Not the One, you give me this really great pop moment, which is
Just get out of my face.
you speak it, and it's so Janet.
It's so funny. That song is actually Janet, like inspired by Janet.
We also talked about Merlin Music Team you worked with, specifically Bloodshy, who did You Don't Stand a Chance, Call Me, and Crush on You.
Those were the 3 last songs that we put on the album, actually.
Wow.
And that's when we went more, it's true actually, that's when we went more towards that sound. And I loved those songs. And it was so cute because everyone, at that time at least, we're so proud of this record because it's a really like good pop record. And everyone said that. And it was so sweet. I mean, obviously I was a kid and I was like, okay, cool, but I mean, you listen to it again and I think, I mean, they did a great job because it's very pop still. I mean, it's good pop songs.
June 12th, where are you? Are you in the States? Are you here to promote? How does that work?
Actually, I mean, I think the promotion was more before. And June, actually, that's where it was kind of like not on the downfall, but where for me, it was super important. Like I wasn't in school, but for me, like my education was super important. I was still so young. I was in the States, like I didn't, like I learned English in like 3 months. I spoke. But when I went to the States the first time, like I did not, and I think that's why I learned it so quickly because like I wasn't able to communicate with anyone. But yeah, I felt more and more that I missed like my family, and also June 12th, because like that date I remember more or less. I did a lot of promotion, but the only date I really wanted was to go back home for my how do you say, the school, you know, when you're like then prom. And I really wanted to go back and like meet my friends and so on. So even like from January on, I was like, okay, I'll do anything, like, but I really want to go back for like that date. And then like I wasn't able to because like I had shows, or I don't remember. So I never did that. But I think that's when I was starting to like really, really realize. I mean, I missed a lot my family during the summer.
I mean, that's such a hard time, 15 and 16. Like, you're a different person every day. Like, it's amazing how you were able to handle that, especially so far from home and speaking a new language. That's insane.
Since I was like 6, 7 years old and I started to listen to Michael Jackson, I was like, I know what I'm going to be when I'm like older. I want to be like Michael Jackson. Like, and then I got these opportunities like to make an album, which was amazing, and like sing and like do what I really want, do what I really love. But obviously my mother, like not being able to travel to with me either. You know, I was a lot alone when I was like 15 years old, like having like you know, like being in hotels. I had managers and like dancers, like really like good people around me, but still. And I think that's when I started to like a little bit like be like lost or like miss home. I think and I did not, like, let's be honest, I did not have a long career. I didn't do it like for very long, but like even like having interviews and like talk so much about yourself and like telling yourself at that age when you don't really know who you are. And I think I kind of realized pretty quickly when I was in Hollywood that like I need something else. Like I need my education. I need like I want to have like a stable like background. And I don't like I think you can easily like lose yourself also. Like I was only living in hotels, like, you know, like having like it was a very good life. Also, it was a lot of work, but I think I wanted to educate myself and be like, okay, this is like an amazing opportunity, but like there's more, and like you need to ground yourself. And I came to a point where I had to make a choice. But then I made the choice and I was like, okay, that's done. And then like I moved on. And I can't say it was easy either, because I went home to Sweden. That's when I was because everyone was talking about it. But I've always learned from when I was 13 years old, my managers in Sweden, a manager like from Merlin Music, he was like, never, like he was like, what you're living. And it's true. Like never talk about what you're going through, because I mean, you like never talk about what you're doing, never talk about where you're going and so on, because it was completely different life. So I learned very early to like not talk about myself, you know, like not like show that side. And of course, like people in school were all aware of it. So I think they thought it was very weird that I never spoke about it.
Maybe that was your teenage rebellious moment, like, I'm going to quit being a pop star and just go back and be a normal person. And I think that's totally valid. Like, you got to do such a unique and special thing with it. Sounds like a great team, and you did make an impact. I mean, you're on the Billboard Hot 100.
I'm very, very, I'm super grateful, but I'm a little surprised, I have to say also, but I mean, I'm super grateful. And I have to say also at that time, I think I lost kind of like confidence also in myself, because I think when I was alone in the States, when you're not surrounded by your family and so on, and I started to feel like, okay, like why am I doing this? Because I'm not as talented as like for me, I was like, okay, if you're a singer, like you should like sing like Mariah Carey, or like you should, and more, like, and that's like the power of the mind also, and that's, I think you know that with experience and when you get older and so on. Obviously, I think I went through, like when I quit, I was like, but I don't deserve this. So I was kind of like, no, you know, I was kind of like pushing it away. I was like, no, I don't deserve it. Like, I don't have that talent, like I shouldn't be able to, you know, those things that you put in your head. And then today, like when I see like, and that's why I'm an advocate for people just being who they are, and like you don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be like amazingly good at what you're doing, as long as you enjoy what you're doing and as long as it makes sense. I have to say, like during my 20s, like for a long time, like people obviously, like I quit from one day to another, and then like people kept writing to me, and I was like, no, but I'm not doing it anymore. And I felt like, I was so like almost like embarrassed to like answer, because I was like, no, but I'm not doing music anymore. So now, I mean, obviously, I just like, you have to give back. I mean, you guys are so sweet, and it means a lot. No, it means a lot. Like when you're telling your story, and that, I mean, you have no idea. It wasn't like such a big deal either, I want to say, but I mean, it's so nice to hear those stories.
Yeah, I respect that you were able to take a step back from the industry and realize it's, not what you needed to do at the moment. So obviously we know the connection with Us Against the World. That song ended up on the Lizzie McGuire soundtrack. It ended up in Holiday in the Sun, which was a Mary-Kate and Ashley movie. That's probably a nice like benefit for you today to have the songwriting towards you.
I was actually very like proud also when because I quit music, and then I started to get like royalties. Like after a couple of years ago, I started to get royalties, and I was like, oh, and actually, I mean, for me, I don't know how much I sold. I sold like 100,000, like something like that. I don't know, like a couple of 100,000, maybe, I don't know. But like Us Against the World, I remember sold like 2 million, at least the first year. So I don't know like how much now, but it's so much fun that I still get royalties. I mean, I don't get big checks at all anymore, but like 20 years later, like I still get, actually for everybody doesn't, and Us Against the World, like from all over the world, which is amazing, and which shows also, I mean, I was more like an artist, but I loved that like behind the scenes, like just that you wrote a song, and for my sister, it means so much. It was for my little sister, and that's like how they would have gotten a record deal either way. But I mean, that they got a record deal with that song is amazing. So yeah, absolutely, it means a lot, and it's a difference, because back in the days, it wasn't really like that the artist wrote their songs either.
Right.
At least not in pop. So yeah, and I mean, that it was the first song that I wrote when I was only 13. I mean, it's amazing.
Especially the message behind that song. It's about friendship, and we didn't really have a lot of pop songs about friendship. It was all about boys and belly buttons. So it's fun for like a girl power moment.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted with Samantha. That was exactly the thing, that like we're friends, and they rented like a hotel room for us. So I was 13, she was 15, and we had like our 2 beds in the room, and we were sitting there like, okay, so what are we going to write about? And then like, I don't know, like this story, and like, okay, so I'm giving you advice on boys, and you're giving me advice, and like, and then the next day we went into the studio and we had this song, which was amazing.
I met someone the other night, someone I really started to like. How will I know if it's right for me?
Obviously don't need to harp too much on play, but it is known that you made a little cameo in the Hard Knock Life video.
Oh my goodness, you're amazing. I had forgotten about that completely.
What's the story there?
What is the story? I remember, I don't even know.
Faye was sick and they needed a body double, just like have someone on set.
Yeah, I think so. I remember doing it, but I mean, now that you're saying it, never would I mean, I had completely forgotten about that. But yeah, I remember I was in LA with Clay. Yes, true, I'm in the video.
That's
yeah,
so cool.
I have no idea how it happened. It did happen. I know I've been with Clay like twice. I went with them to LA and also to New York, and like to support and be with my sister also, because she continued a bit longer than me. So yeah, thanks for the memory again.
It feels like your little family business you had. You guys were the Beyonce and Solange of Sweden, of sorts.
But you know that Clay, their manager was Beyonce's father. They were the opening act for Destiny's Child at the time. Yeah, never thought about it like that. But we're definitely a family. I mean, there's a lot of like music. I have to say, Anaïs it was kind of like a surprise that all of a sudden she wanted to do music, because she was kind of like a tomboy when she was little. So that was a lot of fun that she went into that. And I have a lot of fun with my sisters. I'm very close to my sisters. And now during the confinement, do you say confinement in English?
Yes.
Like during lockdown?
Yeah.
We made like several movies together. Like we're having a lot of fun together.
It sounds like you're also reconnecting with your inner child throughout confinement and isolation.
You know what? Maybe that's why people have contacted me for like 20 years ago, because I went back also to that. I think we all became like nostalgic to what we liked when we were younger. I mean, it's been such serious times that you just have to like, okay, like what do I enjoy to do? And like to focus on like, yeah, things that make you smile.
What's making you smile these days? I see you in dance class. I know you have a successful business in Paris. What is life like for you now?
Life is good. Life is good. I started to dance again like 3 years ago. So I love dancing. I love taking dance classes. I opened my business. So I've had definitely different lives since my music life. I finished, like I did a bachelor. I studied international relations, completely different.
Wow.
Maybe that was my rebellious side also, but I wanted to become like an ambassador because of the languages that I speak, but then I didn't. I went to live in Spain and worked in hospitality business, which in the beginning I didn't love it, but then I loved it because I was on the other side. Like when I was young, when I was between 13 and like 16, I used to live in hotels everywhere, and now I work like behind the scenes, which I love. And then I came to Paris, and I started in real estate, and it went really well. And I mean, that was a huge challenge for me because I can write in French. Again, like I've had different lives in different countries, and every country I go to, I can't speak the language. So like, I think it's like not a new personality because I am who I am, but like a different life everywhere. Like in each country I've had different jobs and spoken different languages and like had pretty much different lives. But I started, when I came to Paris, I started in real estate. It was a huge challenge, but it ended up going really well. And now I opened my own business 3 years ago. And like you're saying, like definitely coming back to like, I love writing. I love, maybe not taking myself so seriously either. Like in work, I like it. I like being professional, but also outside of it, like we only have like one life.
Exactly.
And I enjoy, and
How many languages do you speak?
4. 4. So, but since I'm half French, half Swedish, my mother spoke to me in Swedish and my father in French. So those were like for free. Then I lived in a small country in Sweden where everyone speaks English.
Okay.
We have to in order to communicate with the rest of the world, because no one's gonna learn Swedish. And then I went to Spain and I learned Spanish, and I love Spanish also.
What would you say is one of the biggest pop star lessons you learned back on the road that you still use today in your everyday life?
I know. It comes back to me. I had in Merlin Christian. We had like 3 Christians who were producers and like managers. So we had big Christian, middle Christian, and small Christian. And small Christian was blood shy, and blood shy doesn't like when I call him small Christian anymore, but he was the youngest one. I've always heard like the people you meet on your way up, you meet on your way down. So always stay humble, like work hard, but always stay humble, because one day it's gonna work, another day it won't. And someday like you might be the successful one, and you might meet people who it's not going well for. But people are people, and just always be respectful. And I think that's so important, because I've met so many successful people, and the really successful people are the ones who are nice and like have human value. And for me, that's the most important thing.
I love that, and I can tell you're so nice because you took an hour to chat with me today.
Of course, but you've been very nice to me also.
Well, I'll just say we're friends now, so that's the way it is.
Thank you so much for all your research. Like even like when you say like the picture with Samantha Mufa, I'm so happy that it's still.
Yeah, that was actually it was from, I can tell you where that was. It was in some radio show, I think in August 2001 for B98.5 at the Jersey Shore. Do you remember going to the Jersey Shore?
Oh, it was with Kobe Bryant, right?
I think he was there. Also, O-Town, BB Mac.
Yes.
We have you here with.
Kiss FM.
That's you.
Oh my goodness.
That's
I
you.
love it.
Signing. So yeah, I also just want to say, like, I am a dancer here in LA and choreographer. And if whenever the world is like back to normal and you ever come back to LA, we gotta dance together. Or if I'm ever in France, we gotta take a class.
Oh, for sure. Oh, I didn't know that. That's so cool. What like?
I mostly do like music videos. I'll send you my stuff, but I do music videos for like pop artists, and I've done a few like musical theater things and things like that. So yeah,
I'm happy that you pursued that. That's great.
Really, it's thanks to people like you who showed me that you can, you know, be a young person in the industry and follow your dream when you're just a little boy in Paris, Texas on the farm listening to Everybody Does It.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cute. That means a lot to me. And I love that story. I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this time, and it's great to meet you finally.
It was a pleasure, and it's so nice to meet the man behind, you know. I've seen like your Instagram. Yeah, lovely. You're a star.
You're a star. Stop it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Great to meet you. We'll talk soon, okay?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for everything, and thanks for making me like relive all these memories. So cool, and yeah, take care, and I definitely will. Maybe I'll come and take a dance class for you then.
Let's do it. I can't wait.
We do a choreo on like fantasy class or something.
Okay, no, that's what we're gonna do. We're going TikTok viral with "Can't Stop My Love." Okay.
Let's do that. Let's do it. Thank you so much. Bye.